Good evening and welcome to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. My name is John Bruce, along with Matt Hoops. Welcome into the Chillicothe Sports Card Studio, the new studio here. We have two guests in, Gunnar McCullough right to my left, Hudson Williams to his left, as well of Zane Trace, basketball, football, track, and baseball. So you guys do a little bit of everything. So kind of how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing good too.
Yeah. So because we kind of talked about this out in the, I don't even know what that is.
Lobby?
Yeah, the lobby. We talked about this out in the lobby. Hudson, very good at pole vault. So we asked you a few questions, probably going to ask again here, but how did that even get started?
I don't know. I was just in junior high. Mr. Foreman, he kind of just pushed me over there a little bit, and then Mr. Cahoon got me started. He said I looked natural at it, kind of, and that's kind of how it all got started.
I feel like that's like the best thing you can hear, like as an athlete, like, oh, you look really good doing this, and you're like, all right, I must be good at it. So what was the first height you ever got?
I think it was 6'6".
Okay, so that's still taller than, how tall are you?
6'2".
Okay, that's taller than all of us. Christian, what are you, 6'3"? 4? Okay, of course you are. But now what's your biggest height?
15'6".
Okay, so 15'6". So Coach Hoops, how did you compare that?
It's 5 foot over a basketball rim.
Yeah, 5 foot over a basketball rim. If you're a football fan, it's
Or coach.
Yeah, or coach. It's 5 foot over the goalpost. So just imagine doing that at all, and then you're doing that with a pole over a pole into a
Yeah.
padding. So you kind of have to be fearless to do it, right?
A little bit.
Some crazy. I mean, you
Yeah.
got to have a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
like
that's kind of,
go ahead.
yeah, that's kind of, I was always kind of into doing a little crazy stuff. Raced motocross when I was younger. Broke a lot of bones doing that. And then I kind of got out of it because of that. And I think pole vault was kind of where crazy came back.
I was going to ask if you were like a dirt bike kid, because it seems like something where the people that go out and are big risk takers, that's one of the events that you could do because,
Yeah.
I got a question. What were like your parents' initial reaction to when you said, "Hey, I'm gonna pole vault"? Were they all for it, or were they have some questions?
Yeah, my dad, he's all for it. Like, he immediately was all for it.
All right.
Yeah, that's I was thinking whenever you're saying like the kind of adventure taking, I was like, well, that's the Huntington side of you a little bit, because I know that's a lot of some of the fun stuff that you can do a little more into the country is partially for that. So second in the state last year,
Yep.
right? So second in the state, you and Levi Beam from Unioto, just outstanding. You guys have a good like friendly rivalry, obviously, and just how much fun is it to have someone in this area that can push you like that, because I know you guys are just pushing each other the entire way.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I would be where I am now if I didn't have someone to push me.
Mhm.
And I think having him is a benefit because we just push each other. And I think we both like to see each other succeed, and that's another benefit of it. That's kind of why I like pole vault so much, is because it's more of like, it's almost like a family when you're out there. Everybody's wanting to see other people PR and get higher. So it's less of a rivalry and more like friendship, honestly.
Yeah, it's just good friendly competition.
Do you
Yep.
think, and I think this is just with the sport of track and field in general, don't you think that that's just almost, obviously you're still trying to win,
Yeah.
but like it's not the same maybe as Unioto Zane Trace baseball game or basketball, football
Yeah,
game, stuff
not
like
at
that.
all.
It's there's just something about track and field. I don't know if it's because it's it's nice outside. There's more downtime in between events, but like just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of it, because like having the downtime, you make friends, you get to talk to people all the time, and I feel like it's an individual sport too. So like you're not like on a team or anything. I mean, you still are on a team, but you're trying to PR yourself, and you know how good it feels to PR. So when other people PR,
Right.
you obviously.
Well, it's like on a Friday night, if you get 15 tackles, but you guys lose, and you're like, well, that's rough. But if you go out, you PR, and then you guys, your team loses, but you have a good day, you're still feeling at least decent about it. Where you'd be like, man, I had a good night, but still, it's rough. But it is.
Track is like a battle against yourself. Like you're not. Like a lot of times, I just want to get higher than my last height. I obviously want to win, but PRing is the main goal.
And then, so I'll go to Gunnar now. So Gunnar, you, both of you guys do it, but 3 sports. Just how much do you think each sport kind of helps build you onto the next one? So like where not necessarily football with your position in basketball in your position, they don't really go hand in hand, but how much do you think that competitiveness that, being a quarterback and then being, a forward really pays off for you?
Yeah, I think that's honestly kind of funny because when people see me on the football field, they're like, "Oh, you must be a point guard or all that," and then I get a football, and they're like, "You're a center, pretty much." But no, one of our coaches, my freshman year, is Coach McCormick. He teaches at Chillicothe now. He was like, the first time he came, he was telling me about how he was going to come watch us in basketball. And he's like, "Oh, are you a wing or point guard?" And I told him as a center, and he kind of just like laughed. And I don't know, that kind of just made me thought of that moment there. But
yeah, and that's kind of, we talked about it on, me and Shane did on Overtime this week, of kind of like, you never know who's going to be your point guard because it could be someone that was shorter, or it could be someone that was taller that you just had to find a new position. So the fact that you've always been a center. So were you always taller, or was it just kind of just the way you played?
well, it was one of those deals where I grew quick, and I kind of like was not pushed to be like the big man, but I always like had that instinct because I grew quick and I was taller than everybody in like elementary, Pee Wee, all that. And then everybody else caught up, and I just kind of had to stick with it and then build on to my handles and stuff in basketball.
And then, in your family, very competitive family as well. I know yours is as well. So, how much did, when you go into the spring sport, because your sister's really good, softball, how much does that kind of push you to like try to be as best as you can, to where, is it like a sibling rivalry there? I know it's a different sport, but it's similar.
Yeah, well, just growing up, both me and my sisters also always played like travel ball and stuff like that. And my dad was a coach for her travel ball team most of the time, and then he also helped coach me. But it was kind of a battle to like play at the same time because we would always be playing at different places and all that. And then, yeah.
So then just let's go into basketball a little bit. You guys off to is it 4-1 or 5-1?
Games we played. I don't know. We've been canceled. How many have we
Right,
rescheduled?
right. So something in one, and you've won every game since the first one. So so whenever you guys come out and you lost as many players as you lost last year, you knew you had Roman back, who did play a little bit of varsity last year. How nice was it to have like a Hudson and Bryce and those guys come back, just to give you guys that added depth and obviously physicality?
Yeah, it was. It's really nice seeing them come back. I personally never like really got to play with them because we always had enough, like through Pee Wee and all that, to have individual teams, and it's been really nice to have them around because they've actually helped us a lot this year so far.
Probably takes a little bit of pressure off you some too, in terms of having extra post guys that can actually go in and defend and play and not solely rely on you to do that. Talk about maybe just the difference of how practice is now that there's more of a post presence maybe in practice.
Yeah, for sure. It honestly gives me a lot more time to take mental reps instead of just being in there doing everything all the time. And it gives me a sub to get my breath, get some water and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever have enough. Even though the way the game's going now with, more 4-out, 1-in offenses and things like that, I think that it's, always beneficial to have, a few more extra fouls throughout a game that, if you get in foul trouble, then you got guys in there that can go in there and, take some of those minutes so you don't have to maybe play as much in foul trouble.
Well, and I'm guessing that a foul from, no offense to you, Gunnar, but a foul from Bryce or Hudson is probably going to be a little more impactful on those bigs than maybe you as well.
As long as they don't foul you in practice
Right,
like that.
yeah.
You don't have to play against Bryce Johnson during practice, I tell you that.
I'm sure that's a physical hour and a half or 2 hours.
To say the least.
So Hudson, so you hadn't played since junior high, correct?
Yeah.
So how big of a change was that for you to come back into basketball, to just come back as, it's something you knew, but
Yeah,
it's been a while.
First 2 weeks were rough, honestly. Getting back into it, like trying to get back into the flow of things and everything was rough. And Cassidy, he really pushes you and stuff in practice, which I like a lot. But it was the first week, like even like the stuff that should come easy back to me it was taking a little while to come back. But I feel like I'm starting to get back into it now and starting to feel more comfortable, which is good.
Yeah. So, and I'll kind of go back into the team a little bit. So you guys have a tough one over at Adena. You guys win in overtime. Noah Kaiser hits that big shot for you guys to kind of put you guys back over the top. Just how valuable are like kids like Noah and Lance and Roman to kind of help you guys, because we know what you and Grady can do.
Yeah.
But for those guys that have came up through the program, how valuable have they been to help you guys?
They've been, detrimental to our team. Some nights, me and Grady, we're usually the main scorers. I'm not saying that just because, but statistically, we've been the leading scorers for our team last year. And, those guys coming off the bench, the other guards starting, when they overplay us, it leaves them open. And them being able to knock down those shots and score when we can't, that's very important to our team.
Yeah, obviously you two are going to be the focal point of everyone's scouting report, and I think the further this season goes and the longer that it goes, the more comfortable those guys are going to get. Even though they're playing maybe a secondary role in terms of like the scout, they're not getting guarded by the other team's top two defenders. That's just going to only make your team stronger and maybe lessen the load for you guys and take a little bit of pressure off you as well.
Yeah, and then with what they're able to do, I know in that Fairland game I was there and saw Roman hit some really big shots late for you guys. But just how much have you seen their confidence grow from the start of the season until now? Especially because did any of those guys actually play football?
No.
Yeah, so they had the full preseason where you guys had a shorter preseason. So how much have you seen their confidence grow throughout the season?
Oh, huge. Like summer ball, playing with them at like the Jackson League and stuff. Between then and now, I've especially to point out Lance Stevens. Last year, he was he was still young last year, I'll say that, but since then he's matured, he's developed a lot, and he's been working in the offseason along with Roman too. He got some playing time when LJ was hurt last year, and that kind of just introduced him to varsity basketball, and since then they have both grown.
Well, were you a part of the summer league stuff? Was Bryce, or did you guys just kind of
we
start
came in
after football season?
Right after football.
Kind of talked him into it.
Yeah.
It's a good decision by all of you to talk them into it, but also for you guys to play, because
Right.
it is when you play the team sports, it is so much more fun when you get a chance to do it. Not that the individual sports aren't fun, but it's like it gives you an extra chance to compete because you're still doing indoor track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So where do you do your indoor track at?
Capital University. That's where I do all my practicing and stuff.
Yeah. So Capital University, and that means you got to drive up there, and you got to do a lot of traveling. So how important is it for you to kind of negotiate your time and like make sure you get your schoolwork done and then everything? Because with the sports you play now, I know that you can get some extra athletic scholarships, but academics are a huge part of that. So how important is it for you to find time for all of that you do?
It's really important, honestly. Trying to figure out time in between practices and stuff, and then my sister has practice at Capital too, and we don't get back till late a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
So like trying to find time in the mornings even to get stuff done is big.
What take us through like a normal week in terms of like obviously basketball practices. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, because you play Tuesday, Fridays, right?
Yeah.
So when do you travel up there to practice pole vaulting?
I on Mondays, and then it's Wednesdays. So Monday, Wednesday, I'll go up and pole vault right after basketball. So I get done with basketball, I go home. I normally try to get a different pair of shorts and stuff on, and then go to pole vault.
Sorry for bringing you in here on Wednesday then. Did you go today as well?
No,
Okay.
We got a big week this week.
Okay.
So trying to say.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty big week. So
Trying to save your legs for what? You guys got a game Friday?
Yeah, fairly
The
big.
game Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fairly big one. So, so Hudson, you've obviously played in some big football games, but Gunnar, what can you tell Hudson about like what he's going to experience with how tight, especially with at Zane Trace, what that crowd's going to be like on Friday, and then just how much fun it is to play in front of a crowd like that.
Yeah, I'd say it's honestly the similar atmosphere to football, which football, that's its own whole category of like just, I don't know, all the adrenaline and all that stuff built up. It's just, I mean, it gets to you sometimes a little bit, but basketball there's still a lot of hype and stuff between the student sections and like the crowd and the bench. And then it gets so loud. And I mean, you just got to embrace it.
I think honestly, like, obviously, the football rivalry is what it is. I mean, it's the best around here, but like, and that type of setting, that's more about like the 11 dudes on the field. You know what I mean? Whereas in the basketball rivalry, it's everyone that's in the gym. You know what I mean? And it feels like that. I can speak from a player's point of view, a coach's point of view, a fan's point of view. It's just like everything gets magnified on that game. Those are the type of games that you like to play in. Obviously, going into it, you signed up. Someone's winning, someone's losing. But what happens within those 32 minutes is just like it's stuff that you never forget. Those are the games that you'll never forget those.
Well, and I can tell you from, I think it was 96, is a game watching him and Coach Chris Beard, who was obviously a great at Zane Trace, just watching that game, and it's something like I'll never forget. So as a kid, you remember these games.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure I could piece together some games that weren't rivalries, but it's mostly the rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, and even speaking, I mean, I'm sure you guys as little kids, you guys remember going to Unio to Zane Trace games, and that's the game you remember. You know what I mean? You don't, no disrespect to any other teams, but, that's the game you remember, and it's special, man. I can remember when they closed down the pit, and they asked, anyone, like I think the Gazette put out something and was like, tell us your memories of the pit, man. I wrote a, 2-page paper about my first time going there as a player. And there was nowhere for us to sit. And it was just an intense, crazy atmosphere, just like I remember it being as a little kid going as a fan. But, huge rivalry game. And it means a lot, too, because both programs are such good programs. And so that makes it even more special.
Yeah, so just going to that, that's going to be our Kingston National Bank SBC Game of the Week is going to be streamed here on SOSA. So a big one, obviously, Unio at Zane Trace on Friday. So, we'll stay with that. Like, we'll talk about that a little bit. But so you had a coaching change while you're in school. So how much extra energy has Coach Cassidy brought to the program? Because I mean, obviously, you played for a all-time great with Coach Kello, but then you have a little bit younger coach come in with Coach Cassidy. Just how nice has that been?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, he's came in. It's probably more of just being younger. He has a lot more energy than Coach K did, which I know, obviously, like coaching people like my dad back in the day. He's told me stories, and that's not how I remember Coach K. But it's just because he was getting a little older. But yeah, Cassidy's definitely brought a whole nother kind of energy that I've not seen yet. So.
Yeah, so you guys have a good staff that knows the rivalry as well, because I know you have Coach Gerald on the staff as well, so that can help, especially when Coach Cassidy coming from outside of the rivalry a little bit. But just how important is it going to be? And this is kind of for both of you guys. How important is it for your guys as students to show up for that game to make sure, because you know how loud the Unio kids are going to be, for your guys to be there and to be loud and kind of balance the things out?
I mean, they'll show up. They'll be there. They'll be loud. That's all we can ask them to be. Be respectful. Don't be doing nothing dumb, running out on the court or anything. I mean, there's been years past where stuff like that's happened. So
yeah, I remember fight and fans at Unio a couple years ago.
Yeah, here's the craziest part. It wasn't a Unio or Zane Trace fan.
No. I remember that. Yeah. I was trying to think of what you guys were talking about when that guy like just wandered out onto the court.
Yeah, I think he started guarding Xander Ream when he was bringing the ball before. Not a player, not a current player. It was and it was
an
interesting night. So,
I mean, that's the thing too, is that game brings out like just everyone in the area. They're going to that game. It is what it is.
Yeah. So, This is the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, and one of the things that we wanted to ask, so I know both of you have gone to Dr. Haynes in his office, so I'll start with you, Hudson, because kind of what your sport is. Could you just talk about how much torque and everything is put on your back, just pole vaulting in general?
Yeah, it's what got me to go to Haynes, honestly. Pole vault, when I was younger especially, I wasn't doing everything right, and my technique wasn't great, and it put a lot of stress on my back. I mean, having Haynes to adjust me and everything, and Brandon does all my stuff, but I don't know if I could still vault a lot of times even. There's I had to take, in junior high, there's several meets I had to take off because of me hurting, and then him readjusting me and stuff, what made the difference.
So the fact you've been a state runner-up and then only a junior now, so you've seen him for a few years. Just can you just talk about just how much better you feel after you go there and just everything?
Yeah, it's immediate difference. I have scoliosis, and I have this. I don't even know how to explain it, but one of my vertebrae is it's almost broken in a way, and we got X-rays and stuff on that, and then he's helped me fix that. But after his adjustments and stuff, it's a world of difference.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference as well. I have scoliosis as well, but I also had vertebrae that are pretty much rubbing, and going to him just makes it to where it's like you can do stuff. Yeah. And that's me as an adult, so I can't imagine you as an athlete, what you're able to get out of it.
There's almost like points of where I couldn't even breathe at moments almost because I had so much pain, and then him adjusting me made the difference.
And then Gunnar, I know you've dealt with some injuries and whatnot, so how valuable has he been to you being able to continue to go out week after week? I mean, because you're playing quarterback. You played both ways this year as well, so you don't see that a lot right now with quarterbacks playing and being really impactful on defense. So just how important was he for you to be able to play all 12 weeks of football?
Very. I would go see him at least minimum once a week, just because, I mean, football, it's rough. Especially I got hit numerous times during offense, and then of course the last 2 weeks of our season and tournaments, I kind of led with my shoulder and hit the guy, blindsided him a little bit with nothing but my shoulder, and kind of just I don't know if it pinched a nerve in my back or put some ribs out of place or what, but I was hurting there for a couple of days. And then I went and saw him that Monday, I think, or might have went in that Sunday. I don't know, but he got me right and got me ready for the Columbus Academy game. So,
that's the thing too, is a lot of guys, will wait until after the game to go get, realigned and readjusted and get fixed back up. But I know a lot of kids, especially on our team, they almost had a routine appointments on Thursdays where they would go, you practice all week and then you get straightened up on Thursday before the game and then again after the game. I mean, I know chiropractic care was around when I was in high school, which was forever ago, but I don't remember anyone in high school going to see a chiropractor. Whereas now it's more almost the norm, which is, it should be that way. I mean, they have, this care out there that you can get, and it only helps you. I know there's a stigma or whatever about someone cracking your neck or your back. That makes some people nervous, but I think once you get over that, which usually is the first time, and then you see the results so quickly. And then you get more of a routine with it. It's so beneficial. In fact, I'm getting ready to drive to Texas tomorrow, and I'm going to see Dr. Haynes before I do that because I want to feel right for that drive, And I know he'll go and straighten me up, and I'll be good.
Yeah, it is a long drive. I did it about 2 months ago. So, it's great to all of the different things that are at the Haynes Total Healthcare. Have you guys used anything else other than chiropractic care? Have you done dry needling?
Yeah, I've done multiple sessions of dry needling. I've done 2 in my ankle when I sprained my ankle sophomore year. I went in there a couple times, a couple sessions to get the swelling down and stuff, and then just this past after football season was over, I was still kind of sore and struggling. My shoulder's a little swollen from the results of those football games. So I went in and got dry needling in my shoulder, and then that's the only really time I went in to get dry needling, and then also the massages there they offer they're pretty nice. So
yeah. So when you guys did dry needling, this will probably be the last thing, but when you guys did dry needling, were you guys kind of freaked out at first?
Oh, I was terrified, to be honest. Coming into it, so I ended up hurting my shoulder, and it was 2 games before Uniota game. I separated my AC joint, and I came in there, they were feeling around, he's like, we should probably do dry needling that Saturday, the morning after the game. And I was thinking to myself at first, I was like, I don't know about this. I'm laid down, he's putting all the needles in and stuff, and it didn't honestly hurt that bad, but I would do it again if I had to. Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those things that before you do it, you don't realize how this isn't going to be bad.
Well, I mean, I just think too, nobody likes needles, you know, and then the fact that they're going to put 20 some needles or something in you, and then they're going to hook it up to a machine.
I thought
and
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then as you watch them kind of dance around a little bit, man, it's crazy. I remember when Blake messed up his hamstring, and he terrified of needles. He's like, Dad, I'm not doing it. I said, okay, well then. That's fine. You don't have to do it, but I mean, he suggested it's just how bad or how much do you want to get back, you know, and start playing again. And he was like, you know, fine, I'll do it. And then he did it. I mean, but the table was he did it, and the table was soaked in sweat because of his anxiety. And then when he was done with it, he was like, that wasn't bad. And then, but you know, I just think it's like anything. If it's something new, you know, obviously it's going to be, you're going to have a little bit of a hesitation to it. But once you do it, you know, those people aren't going to do something to you that's going to cause you to feel worse than you already do. You know what I mean? The stuff that they're doing is to, you know, benefit you.
It really does help. Honestly, it may hurt for a little bit and be sore there for a day or so.
Right.
But after that, you really start to feel just a release in pressure. And just your muscles relax and all that. It really does help.
Right.
Yeah,
like I said, it's not any worse than the pain you're in. You know?
Right. So. Yeah. So it's definitely helpful. So we appreciate the Haynes Total Healthcare Center for sponsoring us, but also helping out with young athletes as well. So Hudson, Gunnar, we appreciate you guys coming in. Best of luck this week, we'll say. But stay healthy. Have a great game. Just I'm really looking forward to seeing it because it's just how hard. I know how hard you guys compete. How hard those Uniota kids compete. Should be a really good show for the people that
just embrace it. Embrace the moment. I mean, like you're a junior, but this is it for you, man. So just take full advantage of it. Embrace the moment and let the chips fall where they may.
Yep. So we are going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to a few coaches. You've been watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. We'll be right back.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glow Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glow Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glow Fiber. Simply brilliant.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
welcome back. You are watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. Just a few things before we get on to our Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. I'm going to go through all our sponsors on this real quick. Yeah. So we thank Glow Fiber for providing internet access here in the brand new Chillicothe Sports Card Studio at the new Southern Ohio Sports Authority offices, headquarters. I don't think we've came up with a definitive term yet, because I don't think the dugout has officially been announced. I might have just done it, but there's a couple different things that we're going to be doing here. Just look for those announcements and whatnot now, especially around the new year. So all of that will be pretty fun coming up. So now tonight, I don't know if it's updated yet, but we have the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard on our website, sosaohio.com. So if you ever need a score, you can check it out there. It's usually updated about 9 o'clock each night, or if it's like a Saturday, as scores are coming in throughout the night, as that was one of the things that I always enjoyed looking at, like just going to different websites. It was radio sites at that time, but now it's you can still find them in different places, but we like to have them in that one place. This week, we do have 2 more live streams, both presented by Ohio Health. Thursday will be West at Minford in girls basketball. That'll be a big one. And then our Kingston National Bank SBC game of the week will be Uniota and Zane Trace. If you just are joining us, you just missed a really good interview with Zane Trace's Hudson Williams and Gunnar McCullough, and they're going to be 2 of the standouts in that game for the Pioneers. It should be a really fun one.
Yeah, I thought those guys provided a lot of different meaningful insight from a couple of different perspectives. You know, Gunnar being a three sport star in terms of, you know, your typical football, basketball, baseball athlete, and then Hudson talking about, you know, his track career. Obviously, he really didn't talk to him too much about football, which he's a really good linebacker for the football team, and then coming back to playing basketball. So I thought, you know, it was a pretty good interview by both of those guys to just offer a few different perspectives.
Yep, the different perspectives is very important. So now joining us on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline is Coach Kevin Pickerill from Eastern Brown. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, so Coach, you know, it's a Wednesday night. We appreciate that you were going to call in on Sunday as well, but you know, we look forward to hearing from you. I got to talk to you last Tuesday down at a really good boys game, but you're off to a nice start, 4-1 on the season. Can you tell us a little bit about how your season has gone about so far?
You know, it is a good start. We're 1-1 in the league. Lost to very hungry and it played very well early. Just haven't put some wins together against us, Lynchburg Clay team. That you know, we didn't play the first half up there, but got it going the second half, but just come up a little short. But you know, our kids are getting better each night out. I guess overall, I want to say that we just haven't put a full game together yet. So I'm waiting for that. Thinking we're getting closer, and we'll have a quarter or a quarter and a half where it's just not where we're not connected yet. But we're getting there. It's small steps, I guess. That's not quite as quick as I'd like to see it, but we're on the right path.
Coach, I always kind of use the Christmas break as a measuring stick as to where our teams were or where I wanted them to be. Is that something that you're going to kind of look at and evaluate maybe over the break and make some adjustments as you need to?
We'll definitely have to do that. We've got a couple kids that can only play these first 11 games that's playing some valuable minutes right now. So we're going to make some adjustments definitely through the holidays here. We've actually started working towards that, but at the same time still valuing what we can out of their abilities and getting what we can out of them while we have them. But I definitely have always done that during Christmas break. We always add a few things, I guess, maybe. We always play a holiday tournament here in Brown County, which is shortly after Christmas. So, but usually that break between that holiday tournament and usually have about a week off. We add a few things. We change a few things. We reflect on what's worked in the first half or the early part of the season and hope to build on that and maybe scratch a couple ideas where we thought would work for us that we find out isn't clicking. So we won't change that. We'll still have the same mindset, just on top of that, we got some personnel changes coming with it.
Well, when you mention those personnel changes, so is that something that you're looking at, and like how have they dealt with that, knowing that they have an 11-game season as opposed to the normal 22 plus the tournament? So have you seen anything from them? And then how have you looked at it? Have you had to do this many times before?
Well, as far as the kids, they know it's there. It's in the back of their mind. They're playing hard as they can, trying to get everything they can out of these 11 games. And to be honest, they're putting me in a tough situation because they're practicing and playing hard and wanting to be out there, and we need them out there. And then, at the same time, you're trying to build for the back half of this season. So you're trying to get some routine, some rotations set and different things. So, as far as a coach, I've never really had to deal with it as far as it being planned. Now, I have lost 2 or 3 kids to ACL tears or ankle injuries or something mid-season, and you have to change rotations that way. But not knowing it, I've never dealt with that.
Well, and then going to a different point of you mentioned the Brown County tournament. Just when I look at the Shack, so it was SHL when I was in school, but now the Shack, which is a much better acronym for it anyway. But when you look at like the atmospheres and like the energy of just playing down there, when you have that Brown County tournament, just can you talk about just how different it is playing in some of those and like what the energy level the kids and the crowds bring every night down there in the Shack?
It's the Shack's a unique league as far as that goes. Basketball's obviously a priority sport throughout the league with not having football. I don't want to bash any other sports, but basketball's king in this sport or in this area. So it kind of relies, every school from top to bottom's basketball heaven. And so that being said, you're playing in some pretty good environments from the get-go. It's and the holiday tournament, you're talking about Brown County, it's loaded this year. I feel like us being 4-1, we're probably the 4th best team in it. And so, for kids' sake, it's a battle. It's a chance we get to see Fayetteville. It's really good in the tournament. We actually open up with them in the holiday tournament, and Western Brown's a Division III team they're 5-0 right now, maybe 6-0, and they got 8 really good players, a lot of size, some really good scorers. Georgetown's playing with the new coach. They've changed a lot of their philosophies, and they're playing really well. And they're like 6-1, so. It's definitely going to be a challenge. The good thing, it's at our place this year, but it's it's an uphill battle every night in the Shack because I feel like even some teams that's having down years are still very, very competitive and they make things tough on you. And the coaches know everybody. They know each team, what they do, and you got your work cut out every night in your league.
It's funny you say that basketball's king down there. I know that when I was coaching basketball and when Coach Combs was coaching at Benton County, and we'd always talk about this, about scrimmaging the Shack teams, about how you'd go to your first scrimmage and any of those teams down there, they'd already all have all their team shoes, they'd have matching practice gear, and it felt like they were always in mid-season form because all of us were coming off a football season where basketball was what they were doing down there basically all fall, and it was just it's just been that way forever. I can remember going all the way back to Coach Young, the late Coach Young, and North Adams' teams, and we would play them when I was in high school, and just it's been important for a long time, and obviously it still is, both boys and girls. So I just thought it was kind of interesting that you said that.
And that's exactly right. I mean, a lot of times I've scrimmaged Piketon, Union Odo, Wheelersburg, all these teams playing deep runs in the football tournament and playoffs, and even their girls seem to be a little bit behind just because they're still in. Of course, volleyball's really good, and we've been playing basketball since the first day of practice, and we've been conditioning. We start conditioning first or second week of September, and you guys are what, third week of football season, second week of football season. So
Right.
it's just kind of weird, but I mean,
It's
at the
almost like
same
your
time, it's
guys'
just-
basketball season starts in the summer and then it just never stops. Kind
it
of.
just seems like it
Right.
carries on.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you mentioned you have the sisters that have to sit the second half of the year, but you also have another pair of sisters. Coach Hoops has done a lot of coaching of siblings, but how have you come to coaching the siblings, and do you see anything like where are they coaching each other a little bit, or how are they all getting along throughout the season as well?
It's different. I mean, it's adrenaline. I think they feed off each other. Like, it's kind of, you talking about the Yule sisters. Their energy feeds off each other. If one of them's really hyped, the other one seems to feed right off that. If one of them's struggling, the other one kind of I won't say they fall clear down like that, but they're not as hyped or stoked as if they need to be, like, to help pick the other one up. So it's different. It's a joy. I mean, I enjoy being around all four of them, but they're kind of different though in that regards. Like the Houke twins are definitely they're driven, or they're basketball, and they think about it 24/7, and but they've also come from a different program where maybe things were a little different over there. There's more of a free offense and a different type of defensive philosophy. And so they're kind of, I won't say behind, but it's adapting to what we do. So it's different. But at the same time, everybody's picking them up, helping them out, and know that they can help us out. It's just a matter of, I think, just not playing a lot together is maybe why I feel like we're a little sluggish here at the beginning, just where we just aren't connecting at all times when we should be. It's not even about not sharing the ball or anything like that. It's just like we get stagnant or we miss a defensive assignment, or just the little things, just too many turnovers, and I feel like you just don't know each other well enough on the floor.
Well, I mean, Coach, it could be worse. I mean, you're 4-1 and you're still finding these, as every coach does, finding things that, you want to improve on and get better. And, hopefully that's going to come for you guys sooner than later. And, it's good to talk to you and appreciate you calling in, Coach.
I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to talk to you. I think what you guys are doing is a great thing. Communities love it, I'm sure. And I know the kids do. And keep up the great work. We appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you, Coach, and we look forward to talking to you after the holidays as well. But one last question. Any more big concerts coming up?
Any more big conference games coming up?
No, concerts.
Oh, any more big concerts? Well, no, not on the schedule, but I appreciate you. I just couldn't make it. I was out of town that weekend for an Alabama concert, but we did enjoy it, and no, I don't have any scheduled.
Oh, nothing wrong with Alabama. It's some of the really good stuff when you listen to country music. So, Coach, we appreciate you calling in. We hope you have a great holiday season, and best of luck to you coming up. And we appreciate you calling in.
No problem. You take care. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye.
Yeah, we were down at Eastern Brown last week. And I went over and talked to him. I was like, yeah, we're going to do the show again this week. And he's like, I had a concert. And they told me what it was. I was like, oh, I would have went. I don't even really like country music, but I love Alabama.
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say they don't like Alabama.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that they're still around and relevant, I can remember being little and listening to record of Alabama with my mom and dad. So
yeah, it's one of the really, really good bands, and it's just it's pretty easy, not easy listening, but it's quality country music as well. So
right.
We appreciate Coach Pickerill calling in. As we said, they've got Ripley coming up on Thursday. A lot of teams are playing on Thursday this week, so that's one of the things that.
Was that originally scheduled, or that's
originally scheduled? So with their girls' league, they play more during the week, where the boys are Tuesday, Friday.
Yeah.
The girls will play a little different as well. So I know one of the things that we've talked about with different coaches, or maybe off the air, is the way different leagues are, and it's just for you, it changed when you're at Union from, well, it changed all the time.
I felt like it was always changing. There for a while, it was always Friday, Saturday league games, which, you know, there in the mid-teens when we had really, really good teams, I didn't really care because I felt like that was advantage to us because of the type of players we had. Now, when we were down a little bit, it was hard because you know you're preparing all week for that Friday game, and then you have an hour and a half for basically Saturday morning. So I think probably the way they're doing it now, Tuesday, Friday, I think that's probably the best. And then our girls are Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, that only gives one day of prep for the girls, which I know is tough, but just, you know, trying to find the perfect scenario, I'm not sure it's out there.
Well, I'm really excited because we've got a coach that's on a completely different schedule now. Calling in on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline, Coach Stephen Ater from Chesapeake. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. You could probably hear I was talking to Coach Hoops a little bit about their current schedule. So you guys are on Monday, Thursday. Is that throughout the entire season, or is it the first half?
That's the first half of our league schedule. Then it switches over once we run through the first half of the league schedule. It'll flip back to Tuesday, Fridays.
Okay, so how do you feel about
Are your
it?
girls opposite of that? Is that how it is?
They are. So right now the girls are on a Tuesday, Friday cycle, and then that'll switch back to Monday, Thursday once we get through.
Yeah, so is this the first year of it?
It's the second year.
Okay.
And, you know, when they pitched it, or I would say that it wasn't like I was consulted, but when they told me this is what our league was going to do, it was sort of one of those like, really? Like, we're going that route? I have a friend that coaches up in Northwest Ohio. They'd been doing it for years, and he kept saying it's coming and just be prepared. And it's really one of those things, like, it changes your – like, you know, you used to be able to give your boys off Sunday and then come back Monday to prep for a Tuesday game for a league night. And now you're going to have to practice. We tell our parents we're going to have to practice Sunday afternoon. We try to do it in the middle of the afternoon to not interfere. Kids like to go to church services and things just to try to accommodate that. And I go with my family as well. So we try not to interfere there. But it's just an adjustment. You know, there's positives and negatives. I tell my family, like, hey, I'm going to have some more Fridays free, and we can go out and eat dinner and hang out after practice. Or, you know, I'll go scout a non-conference opponent that's playing on Friday, or maybe we play a non-conference instead of doing a Friday, Saturday. We can do a Thursday, Friday, give the kids off Saturday. So you just adjust. Whatever. We'll play whatever time they can tell it. Let us go play a game. We'll be excited about that.
Yeah, and Coach, you've been at some of the meccas of, you know, basketball in the Southeast, and now you're at a fantastic place in Chesapeake. Can you talk about just the community down at Chesapeake? Not the biggest community, but everything down in the OVC is very tight together. Like, I didn't realize it till we came down to do your game last year of just how you drive through everybody to get even to Chesapeake. So can you just talk about how tight your community is and kind of what basketball means to the people down in Chesapeake?
Yeah, I think it's unique in what you're saying, the geography of the league. For the most part, you know, the original OVC teams that all started out when I was in school, it's just a short drive for every game. And it does create sort of like, you've got your rivalry, but then everybody's sort of a rivalry because you're just almost bordering each other's school districts. But I've always said the OVC, and this, obviously I've coached in the SOC and the OVC both, and phenomenal teams and athletes and coaches in both, but the OVC has just always been a very basketball centric league. You know, a lot of people joke river rat basketball, and, you know, all of us along the river down here is nothing else to do but just go get in a gym somewhere. You know, Chesapeake's unique in that it's like you said, there's not a whole lot here. You know, probably our best asset for people is say, well, we're right across the river from Huntington. There's a lot to do there. But there are a lot of gyms, and we've got an old school that everybody grows up playing in. It's a tiny little gym. One of my former teammates runs lessons out of it, does individual, there's team individual. I mean, we're getting ready to build a new, we're in the process of constructing a $10 million field house, community center attached to our school. So if you've been by our school lately, anybody, it looks like a war zone. It's because of the construction, but we're going to have a full new auxiliary gym in there, new weight room, new football locker room. So it's just, the basketball, people take a lot of pride in it down here. There's great rivalries along the river. It just, the only thing it really does, I think, is it forces, it's not easy to get anywhere. So scheduling wise, I think we end up playing more out of state teams than what I did, at other schools. But Chesapeake's a great community, always supported basketball. I tell people I'm just honored to be able to follow a guy like Coach Pearson and Coach Davis here that have built the program. We're just trying to sustain it and hopefully take it to a level that people, deserve for Chesapeake.
I got a question.
You just killed
you're
Coach Hoops
you're
on
just
that.
like the next school that's getting an indoor facility. Like, how long did that take? Like, process in terms of like saying, "Hey, we're going to do this." Like years. What?
Yeah, it was something in the works. There was a grant that we have a really good assistant superintendent, Jamie Shields, who is phenomenal at that type of stuff. Things that I couldn't begin to even do. She can write these really elaborate grant proposals, and she got this one pushed through. They only selected so many schools, the state did, so we aren't paying a dime community money for it. No bond, no levy, no nothing from our pockets. So we're really, really fortunate that this was able to be able to, it's going to be a benefit. We're going to have medical offices in there where we're going to have, I'm not exactly sure who's staffing it, but our kids will be able to go get medical care and your sports physicals there. And then community members will be able to use it during the day. It's going to be a really neat, cooperative experience for our community. We're really excited about it, and we'll actually be in it by December of next year.
Wow.
So we're 1 year out from being in it.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to get that lady's email.
Well, I was going to say this might be our most viewed episode because they're going to go back and get that name and reach out. So, you guys are so fortunate.
I don't reach out to her. We don't want to lose her.
Right. I just want to consult with her. You can keep her. I just want to consult.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome though. That's congratulations to you guys because it's that's a great community anyway. But as you said, it's anything like that is just going to make things a little bit better as well. So just kind of going on to your season so far. Great season last year. Obviously, you get to the regional championship game. Anytime you get to do that, it is a big step for your program. But you return a good, solid group. Off to a 2-0 start. You mentioned playing those teams from outside the state. So we don't really know a lot about like a Raceland or a Paintsville. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of how those games went along and how your team's played so far?
Yeah, so we had some trouble finishing our schedule for whatever reason. Just was able, we wanted to up our schedule and got a contact that Paintsville, Kentucky was looking for a couple games and wasn't sure about playing the team non-conference twice. They'll go, I don't know anything about them. We had no contact. Reached out, spoke with their athletic director and coach, and he said, "Coach, we're returning 97% of our scoring. We're the favorites in the 15th region, and we got a stud transfer." Oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's play. Looked at the geography of it. We were actually, we hosted them to start the year. We're going to go down there to end the year. If you haven't been in Kentucky, it's a different game over there. It really is. It's very fast paced. Every team, if you get on a Kentucky site and look up scores, every game's in the 70s. Normal games in the 70s, like a good scoring night's 95, 100. Like it is not uncommon over there. It's just an open game. They don't like a lot of physical contact. So a little different than what it's called in Ohio. But we've come to find out Paintsville prepping for them. They did. Yes, they didn't get one stud transfer. They got three, two of which started. So they were missing their leading returning scorer, a kid that plays AAU ball with Maddox Kazee for us. So we had a little familiarity just knowing him. So he wasn't able to go that first game, but that was a really good opening game for us. They have a 6'7" guy inside that really nice player, and a nice guard that had just scored 36 against Ashland a couple nights before we played them. So able to get that one. Then Raceland, Kentucky, small school about our size along the river, and unbelievable state championship finals in football, really good in baseball every year, and had a lot returning with a 6'8" kid inside. So they were they were on fire to start their game, and we were able to battle and hold on to win that game. So yeah, a couple tested games out of state, and then starting to league play here this week.
Is that normal, Coach, for you guys to be in terms of league play the later start? I'm not real familiar with that, I guess.
Yeah, I know just in scheduling discussions at league meetings that they were trying to get it pushed back just a little bit to just, not have your first few games be league games always. And I felt like sometimes that's always the case in other leagues where you're like, man, you're starting out your league schedule and you might have the two best teams in the league starting out based on how the league schedule's made out. So I like to be able to get a couple, it's kind of like more like a college format where you get some non-league games in, get settled in, and then jump into league play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and you mentioned 6'7", so, and then a 6'8" that you're playing against. So you have like a Carson Frecka inside for you guys. So it's a nice person to match up in those. But you also got a couple. You start 4 seniors, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, and then, Caden Perkins has played for a long time. I remember talking to you down at North Adams a couple years ago after watching him as a freshman. Him and Philip Thacker were really good that day. And you can just see their growth throughout the year. But when you got a junior like Maddox Kazee, how nice is it to have those 5 guys back with a lot of experience? I know 4 were starters last year. How much does that help you guys in the preseason and then kind of moving on throughout the season?
I think it's great what you're asking, and my best answer that I can give you is the fact that I haven't lost my voice already this preseason and season is a test to the experience that we have. These guys, I can say something to them, and you mentioned Caden Perkins and Phillip, like those guys have been with me from day one. John Cooper Barker. And there's so much experience with those guys, how much basketball they've played. It just is easy to translate that into, hey, let's, we're doing things pretty similar to last year. You obviously try to add some wrinkles and layers and things, but, if it's not broke, don't fix it completely. So, it's really nice to just be able to, hey, here's what we're doing. You have a base knowledge of it. Now let's clean it up, be sharp, and add to it.
Yeah, and I always thought it was nice too, Coach, whenever you'd have those, those veteran teams that not only can you, in practice wise, but you can talk about different situations that maybe have happened in the past and kind of draw on that with those guys too. But, the funny thing is about your voice, I can remember once basketball started, but, that first 2 weeks or whatever, it takes some time to get that thing back to in shape as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like we have to train ourselves. Like we're trying to get the players in shape, and then we're trying to get our voice in shape.
Right.
So I think as I've done it, I've almost you have to remind yourself, hey, don't get too excited. You pace yourself a little more. I think maybe it's old age and wisdom.
That's exactly what happens. I agree.
Yeah.
I can remember coming home, those early years, and my wife would be like, "Well, you did it again, right?" And I'm like, I couldn't help it.
I know
your voice for the first 2 weeks is just terribly scratchy. But then the older I got, she stopped asking me that question because I was like, you know what? I'm not getting a headache over this. If these guys, they can't figure it out, then I'm just going to talk to them. So,
yeah, that's the way I think I've tried to adjust. And I guess I am starting to. I am old. I'm sounding old, but kids are different.
Join the club.
I mean, the way you and I could be, Coach. I mean, listen, and please call Coach Pearson up and validate this after we get done talking. The way he coached me and the way I can coach kids today are not the same. And he's coaching still, so he can't coach the same way. No. So, I can't repeat a lot of the words and stories and things that the way he coached me. But I will tell you this: it made me better and tougher.
Right.
However, we're in a different era today, so we've tried to, you adapt to what you have, and or you get out, and that's, I enjoy working with the kids, and I think I've tried to look at it from a different perspective as I've gotten more experience and say, these kids are giving me everything they've got. They're not in college. Most of these kids are multi-sport kids. They've got families, jobs, lives, girlfriends, whatever. And
school.
Let's just enjoy the experiences. And I think that, I kind of talked to our kids in preseason this year about, last year was last year. Yes, it was great. And there are, numbers on a wall and a banner that belong to those guys forever. But there's nothing guaranteed about this year.
Yep.
And, so we just want to enjoy the experiences we're getting. We're not setting that goal of like, well, we need to get back to where we are or where we got to last year. Okay, we know what we'd like to do, but we've got to work for today. And that's very cliche, but like, we've got to just enjoy the time we have together, because like you said, we have 4 seniors that aren't going to do this anymore at Chesapeake next year. And some of those guys might go on and play next year somewhere else, a different level. But, we want to enjoy the time we have with each other, our brothers and our community, and celebrate that. And hopefully out of that, we'll have some success.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think too, just going back to, the experience you gain as a coach, early on, let's face it, you're just trying to prove yourself as well. Like, hey, I can do this, and, please let me do it again the next year. So, I feel like every coach does this. You're so focused and emphasize, wins and losses, and then, you eventually you build your program, and then you validate your coaching style or whatever, your resume, and then it, that's when you're able to just step back and say, okay, there really is a lot more to it than just winning and losing. And obviously you've been doing it long enough, coached, and you're doing it the right way and always have. But, early on, you're just trying to, I feel like, prove yourself. And, you talked about being cliche. I always just, we never really set goals in terms of like, oh, we want to go 22-0, or we want to, win the state championship. Well, that's everyone's goal. That's obvious. But if you can just keep it simple, and, ours was always just go 1-0. And then at the end of the year, how many times were we able to go 1-0? And because a lot of times early on, man, if you're like, oh, we want to go undefeated, or we want to win the league a gold ball. And what happens if you stub your toe early? Now you got to reassess your goals, and, they think the world's over. So obviously you're doing it the right way. And, it's your teams are always really fun to watch.
Well, I appreciate that. We can be there's times where I think our team, we give people their money's worth with games at times, because, man, as good as we can look, we get fall apart. And I don't know if that's, you always go back, and I'm sure you did this, like where you just reassess, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I missing here? Like, we were up 18 and all of a sudden we're up 1. Like, what am I, like, how can I not figure this out?
I think you got to take yourself out of the equation there, Coach, and realize these kids are kids, and we don't know we're trusting 16 and 17-year-olds to make us look good a lot of times, and sometimes they don't even know what they're doing.
Well, and I think to your point too, sometimes I also, like, I will be very quick to give praise to, when we have really talent, and I do right now. I am super blessed. We have guys that are experienced and very talented, and that doesn't get you anything in basketball because it's such a humbling sport at times. But like, it just makes us look smarter, right? The better those guys are, the harder they work on their individual games. It's like, they just really shot really well tonight and hit 12 threes. Well, all of a sudden I'm smarter? No, not really. Like, they're just really good players, and I'm really fortunate to get to work with them. So, you try to, like you said, you remove yourself and go, man, a lot of times it is about the players. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you too. And I've told some younger coaches, guys that I've worked with, or that maybe you're new at a job, and I'm like, man, some of the things that I enjoy the most are summer basketball, June, and getting, like been fortunate enough to go up to Midwest Live the last 2 summers. Got accepted into that and go compete up there and up Cedar Point. And I mean, it's a who's who. I mean, there's hundreds, literally 100+ college coaches there from, California. I mean, we saw Washington, Oregon. Tom Izzo, Brad Painter, Matt Painter, like great who's who amongst coaches there. And our kids, here's little Chesapeake kids playing on the court next to them. Now, they're not all there watching us. Let's be real, okay? But just the fact that we're in that environment.
Yeah, you're in the same building.
Go up to Cedar Point, and we get to be around, we're seeing guys, and kids are, the social media, they all know, those guys from Detroit are in here. And, man, we know that guy. He's ranked so-and-so. That's so-and-so's son. Those are the type of experiences that, like, at the end of the year, winning this or that, but like those things are things that stick with you the more you do it. And I really enjoy that.
Oh yeah, it's a great thing, and that's why we all do what we do is because we love the game, but we also love those experiences with the players and kids that we get to cover as well. So, Coach, we appreciate you calling or us calling to you tonight, and you taking a good bit of time with us. Cold Grove tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Cold Grove, big physical. They're going to come in and be a good test for us. Start our league play.
Well, it's best of luck to you. Have a great holiday season, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thank you for the invitation. Enjoy talking with you guys, and Merry Christmas.
Yep. Good to talk to you, Coach.
Yep. Merry Christmas, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was Coach Stephen Ater of Chesapeake. Is when you've coached at some of the places he's coached, you get a lot of really good experiences. It's also really hard when you go in to start, and that's what makes what he's been able to do really impressive as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Wheelersburg, Chesapeake. You think of those two names, you think of how many games you're going to watch them play in the Convo.
Yeah, and you're always going to be behind a really good coach. You're following up someone that's really good. So
right. And so is he.
Yes.
I mean, someone's going to follow him one day, and he's one of those guys.
100%. He's great to talk to, so we appreciate Coach Ater calling in. So you guys talked about getting your voices ready, and I was thinking about my hand. I did.
You talking about hitting fungos?
Yeah, hitting
catching
fungos.
bullpens.
16 years of hitting fungos in the spring. I would always have the same, like once I got my, blisters.
Calloused?
Once my hands got calloused, I knew it was like, okay, it's baseball season.
There you go.
So it'll be, it's one of those things. Your voice gets ready.
Right.
Sometimes your hands get more callous, and that's how you know that it is the season. So now we have another coach calling in here on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. Now up is Coach Nate Dropsey of Logan Elm. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. It's we appreciate you coming back on with us. I know we were supposed to talk on Sunday, but now we appreciate you coming on Wednesday with us as well. So I know I talked to you a little bit last week after a really good win over Fairfield Union. You guys off to a 2-3 start this year, but man, when I'm looking at your schedule, like 2-3 is not bad. Like you just look at these teams you played, close wins over Bexley and Fairfield Union, and the really competitive losses to Circleville, Bloom Carroll, and Jackson. Just how much does that just battle test your team immediately out of the gate?
Yeah, I mean, I know we looked at our schedule early, and we played some really good teams early, and we knew, coming in, obviously Bexley was a double overtime loss last year. So we had that one circled for sure, that we wanted to start the season off right. But then you look at programs like Jackson and what Circleville's done, and Fairfield Union, and obviously Bloom Carroll traditionally is a really tough and well coached program, and you're like, wow, that's a tough start to the season. But I think as we go on throughout the season, games like that, games that are close, tight, come down to possessions here and there is going to help us in the long run.
Coach, obviously losing Nehemiah from last year's team, a bulk of the offense and scoring that he's really done for the last 2 seasons. How have you guys collectively as a team kind of been able to mesh and, make up for that?
Yeah, obviously Nehemiah was a huge part of our success 2 years ago when we made sort of the improbable run.
We don't have to talk about that, Coach. Come on.
But yeah, he's a guy that we have leaned on. Even going back to his sophomore year when we lost Tanner Holbert and Braylon Baker, we leaned on him as a sophomore to help. Lead the team, especially with all offensive production. And then as a junior and senior, if we needed a basket, we felt like we could go to him and, at least get a good look off, or, he could draw some double teams where he could find one of our other guys. And in this year, it's a totally different team. It's, it has to be by committee. And we feel like, we're learning to mesh together and play together. And, that's an ongoing process that we're working with and trying to learn from every day.
Yeah, and it seems like you're having different guys step up. It feels like Brady Neff's a little bit more into that kind of that number one scorer role, but you just have so many different guys that can do it as well. So how nice is it to have an experienced guy like Brady, but also bringing in guys like Kelton Bennington and Doran Patton that are playing bigger roles this year?
Yeah. Brady has played since he was a sophomore at the varsity level, so he understands the speed, the physicality, and just the toughness it takes to win not only in our league, but with the schedule we were able to put together. But yeah, like kids like Kelton that came back out this year, that's a tremendous addition to our team. A kid that can really shoot the basketball, and we feel like he can guard. He's a strong kid. Doran coming up through the program, and JV kid last year, and he put in a tremendous amount of work and got in the weight room, and that's really helped him. He's sort of surprised us over the summer with how he can get to the paint, and he's very creative on how he can finish. So yeah, we like the fact that if when Brady has maybe a down game or a team takes him away, that we feel like we do have some other weapons that could step up.
Yeah, Coach. I'm not real familiar with what you guys have. Some of those names I do recognize, but like your team makeup, is it you guys have a lot of length, a lot of guards? What are you guys kind of made up? And also, like junior, senior heavy, some young guys. What's the makeup of your team this year?
Yeah, so we start 5 seniors, have a senior that comes off the bench, and 3 juniors that come off the bench. And then, we're typical Logan Elm. We go anywhere from 5'9", 5'10", and if I stretch it to 6'2". So, we don't have a lot of height. I do feel like our guards are long. I think they're pretty strong. But no, we don't have a true 5. Ethan Manson has put a tremendous amount of work in the weight room, and he can guard a lot bigger than what he is. So, I think, we have a mix of guys that we can sort of throw out there to match up with different teams that we'll see.
Well, and then having those depth guys, like you have all those experienced players, whether it's at the varsity level or not, they've all played a lot of basketball. So where, in that Fairfield Union game, you get down by 3, Kelton gets the offensive rebound, kicks it out to Owen Russell, who knocks down a 3 for you. Just how nice is it to have all those senior guys seniors and juniors that believe in each other, believe in what Logan Elm basketball is about, and they just know that whoever they make the pass to, as long as they're doing things the right way, get their feet set, they can knock down those shots.
Yeah, they all 9 guys have an incredible amount of trust in each other. And I think that's pretty special for a group of high school boys. And when we can get them all to buy in like we have this year for one cause, one purpose, that makes it really fun. Because then it doesn't matter who makes it or who gives the assist. It's more about us as a team trying to accomplish our goals.
And then obviously just scouting purposes, that's hard to do. If all of them can do it and all of them are willing to play their roles, then, it's a dangerous team. Sounds like a typical Logan Elm basketball team, which, obviously, Coach, you've been a part of that program for a long time and are continuing the tradition, this year as well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we're still figuring it out, and we're gonna have nights, like last night. We played a physical, tough Bloom Carroll team, and they do Brett Mitchell and Coach Schmitz do a heck of a job of scouting, and they sort of took us out of our sets that we're comfortable with. But so we're going to have nights where we struggle to score the basketball. We feel like defensively, we can guard fairly well, and to be able to keep it in a total that can keep us in the game.
Well, you mentioned that Bloom Carroll team, and you've talked about your size a little bit. It almost feels like you guys, size-wise, almost mirror each other this year as well. So I'm not surprised that was a really physical game. So, but Fairfield Union had a little bit of size on you guys. You guys were able to hang with them rebounding wise, and I thought your physicality in that game was really at another level as well.
Yeah, that Fairfield Union game, it was very physical, and we needed it to be. Asa Klein, as a sophomore, I mean, he's a tremendous player already. So we got another 2.5 years of him, unfortunately. So we knew we had against them, we had to be really physical. We had to double the post. We didn't want to let him bury us on the block and shoot layups. And I thought the kids did a really good job, especially timing and when they went to go double. And we communicated so well that game on our rotations. And I think what we give up, maybe 3 threes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we gave up 3 threes, 2 to Hutzinger, who, man, he can really get it going too as a guard for them. And he's gotten, I feel like he's gotten bigger and stronger and more comfortable getting to the paint. So he's a really dangerous guard in our league. And, I think we held him to 7 or maybe 8 points. And so, I just think as a team that game, we were sort of all bought in and did what we needed to do to get the win.
What is it, Coach, about Fairfield Union? They all have to be like 6'2" or taller to like go to that school. I think. Like, I can't ever remember a Fairfield Union team that didn't have length or size or a combination of both like they do now. It's insane.
Going back to Colin Woodside now on the sidelines with them. And then they had the Hara brothers and
lengthy, athletic, strong players
and good basketball players
right.
too. It's not like they're bad.
No, they're athletic, and that's a team that since I've been at Logan Elm, they've been incredibly disciplined. And just almost robotic in what they do, and they force you into mistakes, and they really get you to play their way. And that's just, I think, the culture that's been built there over the years.
Well,
and
Coach
they're good at what they do.
Coach Eversole came from Bloom Carroll, right? Under Coach Pettit.
Yes.
And I feel like he just, kind of moved that there and added it to 6'4" players all over the place. So it's been a really good program for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously Logan Elm has been an outstanding program for a long time as well. So, going back to at least 25 years. So it has to be nice to be at a school that is hungry for basketball, and then you have some kids that have really bought into the program. Just talking to those guys after the game when I'm doing my interview and almost trying to get more out of them besides just how good of teammates they were. You could just tell it's like they didn't want to talk about themselves at all. And I think that says a lot about Logan Elm basketball.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're proud of our culture, and we have that alumni game leading into Thanksgiving, and we get anywhere from 50, 60. We've had up to, I think, 70 kids come back for just that alumni game and just spend time, and they get to know the kids and laugh, and we play against each other and have a JV against the real old guys, and the last 5 years of classes play against the varsity. And I think it's just important for our kids, whether it's 7 through 12, to see those guys and see how much it meant to them. And I think that adds a little bit of maybe just motivation and how to act to what they do.
So you're telling me now that you just said the really old guys, like the Blakes and the Congroves and the Evanses, those guys are in the old guy category now?
Yeah, we consider them the old guys.
I'm way old.
Yeah, so we had guys back all the way. Tyler Congrove played this year, and I think he was an 05 grad.
Yeah, real old.
Yeah, super old.
Yeah.
I coached against him. Golly.
Yeah, but
I'd have to play against your third graders if I come back to that game.
There you go.
So Coach, we appreciate you calling in. It's great to hear about that culture that we've kind of always known, but when you get to hear about it firsthand, it really shows the importance of basketball there at Logan Elm and the culture that you guys are building and continuing on as well. So we appreciate you calling in, and
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and thank you guys for all you do for our teams and our athletes, here in Southeast Ohio. It's refreshing to see that we have media covering them and doing a great job.
We appreciate it, Coach, and have a great holiday season. Good luck this week against Amanda Clear Creek, and then we look forward to hearing back from you after the holidays.
All right, that sounds great. You guys have a good holiday too.
Yep. Merry Christmas, Coach.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, when you have that many guys coming back, that means something to.
Yeah,
to them.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, that's what you want as a head coach in a program is to, the important things is that those people come back, and that at one time someone was younger looking up to those guys, watching them play, and then they still come back and come around and be. And it also just shows you how much of an impact that Logan Elm basketball has had on so many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is definitely a very impactful program, and then really if you look at the girls side, hopefully we'll talk to their coach here coming up. Their girls program doing really well this year as well, so they get really nice crowds there, and you can just tell it's people that really buy into the program over there. So now. We have one more coach calling in here on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. We have Coach Doran Martin from Portsmouth West. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing real well. How about you?
Oh, doing well. So off to a 5-1 start, and we'll get into the season here in a minute. But we just talked to Coach Dropsey from Logan Elm and about how some different players have came back, but you've had some players that have came back to be assistants this year. How nice has that been to help these girls that maybe watched them when they were in middle school have a lot of success at West to go get coached by them now?
Abby and Lexi are doing a great job. Obviously they've known the girls for a long time. Some of them, Lexi's played with a couple of the older girls. So it is nice that when we look over on the wall and we see some of our conference championships, Abby and Lexi are on those pictures. So it means something to, that they have a little piece of history at Portsmouth West, and it actually means something when it's coming from, somebody and you can see their name on a trophy or, their picture on the wall. So
yeah, that's always. That always does, as a player growing up, when you got to hear it from the people that have gone through it, it does make a big impact. So your first year as the head coach at West, off to a 5-1 start, and man, it couldn't have gotten much tougher than your first 3 games, really. With North Adams, that was an instant classic to start your season. Then you beat a really good Piketon team. Then you go drop one to Warren. But how important was that for you guys to have a little success in that really tough 3-game stretch to start the season?
Yeah, I mean we've been working all preseason on on what our goals are, and I think we have some pretty high goals. We have a lot of returners, and they think that they have a chance to win the league. So that's kind of what we've been pushing. We've been setting the expectations high. And, this first time coming out, we scrimmaged a couple times at home. We scrimmaged McLean at home. That's and didn't particularly play very well, but end up winning by 2. In that North Adams game, we got off to a rocky start. Sometimes you watch film and sometimes people look really good on film and sometimes they don't. And I'm not really sure what led to our rocky start, but girls went on a 7-0 run with about a minute or so left in the game, and had a freshman hit a big time 3, and helped me get my career started off 1-0. It was a real nice feeling.
Yeah, Coach. So, the preseason is what it is. The film is what it is, and then until you actually get out there and do it, and you mentioned the freshmen. Until these girls get that experience, it's always going to be a little bit more difficult. Going into the Christmas break, what are some things that you guys maybe want to work on and improve and come out of that a little bit better than you are right now, which is 5-1, which is really good. But obviously, from a coach's point of view, there's always going to be a lot of things that you want to get better at.
Absolutely. Everything's pretty much new for them. We're working with a new offense. We're working with a new defense. So we've really been trying to work on our team concepts so far this preseason. Really lay down like how we're gonna function as a team. So over the next few weeks, obviously we'll continue to prep for all of our games and our opponents, but I'd really like to spend a little bit more time working on some individual skills. It's like now that we have the big picture, we kind of understand that. Hey, let's work on getting better as individuals. So, and that's going to take all sorts of things: ball handling, shooting, passing, all that stuff. But we'll do a lot more one-on-one stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Coach. I think a lot of times, you do a lot of that in the summertime. You develop yourself as a player in the summer, and coaches really, with the way things are set up, you can do that a little bit more now in the summer than you could maybe in the past, and even in the spring. But I think it's still very important that throughout the season that you take time to do that. I listened to someone, I think it was Brad Stevens, coach at a talk at a clinic one time, and he talked about how many shots is his best player getting in practice? And it's not a lot. And then so he started, kind of breaking his practices down so that there was, you were getting more shots up in practice. And I thought that was a really good idea, a really good point he made. And it was something that we started implementing in our program as well, was, taking that 10, 15, 20 minutes of just individual time of getting lots of shots up. And that time can be spread out throughout a practice. You can do maybe 5 minutes at the beginning, 10 in the middle, and then 5 at the end. Whereas your number of shots that you're going to get in practice that may not come in a scrimmage setting or a 3-on-3 setting or things like that, but it's going to impact the team because your individual play is going to get that much better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we spend a lot of time. Usually, the first 15 minutes of practice, we'll work on some of those skills, whether it's getting open under pressure, or whether it's some sort of passing or ball handling drill, or some individual footwork for defense. We work on a lot of individual stuff in practice, and then we spend, I would say, at least 20 minutes a day of just shooting, and there's rarely just one person shooting.
Right.
So we like to get as many drills with as many shots as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, we always try to incorporate whatever offensive actions that we got in our offense into our shooting drills and put it on the clock and make sure it's a little bit under pressure too, because you want them shooting under a little bit of duress and not just, chucking up threes.
Yeah, I mean, we use basically all of our shooting drills have either a competitive component to them, where they're battling the other girls on the team, or there's a goal that we will put 5 minutes on a clock and have to hit so many threes in that 5 minutes. So yeah, there's always a little bit of pressure in most of our shooting drills, for sure.
So, off to a 5-1 start, and you don't have a ton of seniors that have played a lot coming back, but you have some really experienced kids. So, like a Braley Pistol, only a sophomore, but played a ton last year. Macy Wisman's played a ton of varsity basketball. So is Haley Carver and Allie Buckner. How nice is it to have some kids, even without them being seniors, to be able to be leaders for you guys to kind of help your team grow throughout the offseason, and then also in the season right now?
Oh, well, I mean, it's obvious. It's a big relief when you get to come in and basically all of your team is coming back the following year, and a big portion of your kids played all of the minutes from the previous year. So that's obviously a big relief for me. And some of those kids, like we talked about before, they played on a conference, teams that played for conference tournament or conference championships, so they have some of that experience. It's a big relief. I mean, Haley Carver, she brings the intensity every day in practice. She always sets a really good example as far as how we want to compete as a team. Her and Braley do that I mean, as well as anybody. And then Macy, she's a very calming presence. You don't necessarily hear too much from her, but you know, she's averaging almost 2 blocks a game. Like, it's like we can put a little bit of pressure on that perimeter because we know Macy's behind us. And then on offense, if things aren't going particularly well, we always have a 6-foot girl that we can throw the ball to. And she just always has the same face on. So it's very, very relaxing for the rest of the girls. And, you know, even though that they don't get a lot of minutes, like Riley Miller is one of our seniors. She's played in half of our games. She's not someone that's going to fill up the stat sheet or anything, but just what she does for the younger girls in practice, and she holds everyone to the standard. Like, if we're not practicing hard, we're not communicating, Riley's going to let them know. And then she also does like really, really simple things that just make, you know, a coach's job easy. Like, I'll show up after school and all the jerseys will be passed out, put in people's lockers. And that's something that a senior's doing. And then Kayla Throckmorton, she's someone who, whether she gets in for 20 minutes or she gets in for 5 minutes, I never hear a peep out of her. She just comes in, takes advantage of whatever she's given. It's very, you know, it's very nice as a coach to come in your first year and not have any problems out of your upperclassmen. So I'm very thankful for that.
Well, it sounds like you have some really good leaders there as well, even if it's not seeing a ton of time on the court. Having that leadership off the court and in practice is just going to make that West program even better throughout. So, Coach, we know you got a big one tomorrow. We're going to be down there streaming at Minford. You guys 5-1. They are 4-0. Should be a really good one there over in the Muletown area. So we wish you the best of luck, and we appreciate you calling in, and we look forward to hearing back from you after the holiday season.
All right. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So as always, when the coaches call in, it's on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. So if you are just picking up our episode, we had what we felt like was a really good interview with Zane Trace's Hudson Williams and Gunnar McCullough. That was about the first half hour of the show. And then we've had Coach Kevin Pickerill from Eastern Brown, Coach Stephen Ater from Chesapeake, Coach Nate Dropsey from Logan Elm, and that was Coach Doran Martin from West. We will be back. Well, you won't be back on Sunday. Nick Barrows will be over there in that seat on Sunday night, as we will have the Coaches Calling Show at its normal 7:00 start on a Sunday night. Hopefully we don't get like another record snowfall.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, how much was out at your house? Because I know you
I don't want to say the two numbers that it was between.
Yeah,
but there was a lot of snow at my house.
Yeah, so it was definitely between like 2 and 3 inches. So
times 2.
Yeah, that's definitely the numbers, because no one says those. So
not in Mr. Hoops' class. It's a detention. They know better.
There we go. I like it.
It's just overkill. You know what I mean?
One of the teachers I work with over at Paint Valley, it's it was push-ups for a couple of kids. So yeah. Which, I mean, you know, whatever. It is what it is. So just a few things here just to clean up a little bit. We are in the new Chillicothe Sports Card Studio here at the Southern Ohio Sports Authority.
Very roomy.
Yes, headquarters. It's so much better. We appreciate Jacob Wise getting everything set up in here. Christian Spradlin did a great job. I thought this might have been our smoothest show as well. So
not over yet.
It is not over yet. That's true.
Yeah, so far.
So far so good. Now, on game nights, check out the Norfolk Animal Clinic scoreboard to find all the scores from around the area. And then, as always, we appreciate Haynes Toll Healthcare Center for sponsoring this show. We do have 2 live streams this week presented by Ohio Health. Thursday, 5-1 Portsmouth West at 4-0 Minford. That will be a girls contest about 7:00. And then our Kingston National Bank SVC Game of the Week on Friday. undefeated Uniota against one-loss Zane Trace. So I don't think we ever fully gathered what the record was. So I think it's 4-0 against 4-1. But
something like that.
Yeah. But either way, both undefeated.
Doesn't matter what the records are in that game.
No, they could both. Yeah, throw them out the window. That's going to be some must-watch games. So once you guys get to Texas,
it'll be on.
Yeah, you can throw that on.
That's
so
right.
have a safe trip. Tell Mal and Joel and Jovi we said hi. And,
Will do.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you after Christmas on your way back in. You got anything else?
That's it. I thought it was a good show tonight.
Yep, good show tonight. We look forward to talking to everybody on Sunday as well. You've been watching the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show presented by Southern Ohio Sports Authority and Ohio Health. Have a great rest of your week.